with the fans here. All positive, all, I was at my kid's flag football game the other day, and that was fun, and, took some pictures. So, my interactions have been really positive. So, we've got great fans here in South Florida, and really just Dolphin fans from South Florida, from really all over the country, I would say. They love this team, and, I love that about them, and, my interactions have been great. So, hopefully I continue to have more.
Have any of them questioned how well this season has gone, or have they kind of stayed away from that and talked about it?
Everything's been positive. Everything's, I've had a lot of good conversations. And, again, a lot of, when I interact with people, I try to ask them more about themselves and about what's going on with me or the team. So, no, everything's been positive.
Have you approached with the team at any time the fact that polls show many fans want the team to lose?
No, that's not. Our focus is really on the improvement and really trying to win the day, win the meeting, win the walkthrough, win the practice. We don't really put much energy into any polls or any reports or anything of that nature. We just kind of try to focus on our specific job. Or the rest of that really, it doesn't matter, to be quite honest.
You considering any lineup changes after the bye? Did you consider any or multiple positions changing the players who are used?
Yeah, we considered really lineup changes across the board. We, as a staff, we evaluated every position, every grouping, every player, every coach, everything. So everything was considered. And again, always, in the best interest of the team, positionally, from a playtime standpoint, from a, production standpoint, I would say. So we evaluated it all, and we're going to try to get the best guys out there.
Are there going to be changes? I wouldn't expect you to disclose what, but will there be lineup changes that we'll all see on Sunday?
I think there'll be. I think there's lineup changes every week based on the opponent and how we need to play a specific opponent. This week, we're playing against a talented group. They're really good up front defensively. They've got obviously ball hawks in the secondary, guys who can rush, guys who can stop the run. Offensively, they've got obviously one of the best backs of, I would say, all time. And some other backs behind him, and good young receivers, and good players on the offensive line. So we got a tough test ahead of us. So it's we'll try to put guys in the best position to play against this team.
What's the approach at quarterback? Is that a settled thing, or are you going? You're smiling.
You're a Yankee fan?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, I am.
Good job.
Yeah.
So, is that a settled thing, or are you going week to week with that, or feel, or what's the approach?
Quarterback? Yeah, you asked.
The quarterback.
Yeah. It's settled. I like where Josh is. I think he's improving on a week-to-week basis. I think he's a young, talented player, and I think he needs to get in there and develop and get reps and just improve. I think if we could, when he's scrambling and if he can throw the ball away, that would be an improvement. Something we've talked about a lot. Hopefully, if I say it, to you guys, maybe you'll listen. But that's something amongst a lot of other things. Just decision making and accuracy and making good decisions. So. I like where Josh is, and hopefully he just continues to improve over the course of the, today, tomorrow, and over the course of the season.
Have you had a stronger hand, I guess, in the game plan in the last couple of weeks? Is there anything that you've really asserted yourself in more, and changes that you want to see game plan-wise?
I try to assert myself really every week in all phases. I watch all the film and say, hey, here's some things that I feel like we should attack. Here's some things that I think they're going to attack. In game, you can kind of get a feel for how a team wants to play us. So you got to make adjustments from that standpoint as well. So, every week I've got things I want to do offensively, defensively in the kicking game. And but I have a lot of confidence in our coaching staff, and we tend to see things really ultimately the same way. And we just got to try to go out there, practice it the way we think it's going to go, and then hopefully execute in the game.
Brian, one thing we've heard from some of your coaches, I know George Godsey has said this and others have, we want to put players in position to do what they do best.
Yeah.
And as it pertains to Raekwon, he's obviously very good against the run. He struggled at times against the pass. Do you want to give him another in-game opportunity as opposed to just practice at some point just to see over a substantial body of work, even if it's just 1 or 2 games, how he does against the pass to see if that area is something he's shored up?
I think, look, we have no idea. If I knew every time it was going to be a run or every time it was going to be a pass, I'd be a much better coach. I think any coach would tell you that. So ultimately, the reps that Raekwon gets, he's going to be in there for some pass plays. So I think that kind of takes care of itself. And I think he's done a good job with those reps in the pass game. So that's the kind of the body of work we go off of. He has, shown a lot of improvement. Obviously, he was, dinged up during training camp, and it's kind of come on, these last few weeks. So, look, every guy on this team is going to earn their reps, their snaps, their opportunities to play. I would say he's in that boat, and run, pass, first down, second down, third down, red area, 2-minute. We're going to try to put the best guys out there. I think that's something every coach, really around the league is trying to do.
How would you assess what Rowe has done well and maybe what he can do a little better, Rowe, after you evaluated the first 4 games?
I think his communication's good. I think his tackling for the most part has been good. I think he's got to do a better job, just consistent, have more consistency from a coverage standpoint. And that's technique at the line of scrimmage. That's top of the route. That's there's a few different areas there, and I think he knows that. But look, there's some other things going on there too. We got to rush the passer a little bit better. We got to have a little bit better disguise. Got to have better communication. You can point to one player, but there's 11 guys out there. So, but Eric's a professional. He's working at the things that he's struggling with, just like all the rest of our guys, and I think he'll improve and get better.
You had really high praise for Charles Harris in the preseason. We haven't seen that production yet show up on the field. Are you pleased with how he's played?
I think when you talk about production, I think people think sacks and interceptions and tackles, and I think Charles is been in the right spots, been where we want him to be, and like everybody else, he's had some tough plays as well. But when I think of production, I may think of it a little bit differently than some other people. Are you in the right place? Are you setting the edge when we want you to set the edge? Are you penetrating from a pass rush standpoint when we want you to penetrate? And I think from that standpoint, he's done a lot of good things. But he can always be, we can always be better. And at the end of the day, there's been a couple plays here and there, and it's not just Charles, but it's across the board that we could make, that we didn't, that I feel like we can make. And the goal is to make those plays. I think he understands that. We all understand that as a team. And it's not just the players, coaches as well. We got to continue to stress the fundamentals of technique and how important those plays are, because every play counts. It really does. Every play counts. So we want the right guys out there, and everybody's got to take care of their responsibility. And if everybody does that, then we should have a good play.
Where is Preston Williams in his development, and is it about where you thought it might be at this point in the season?
Preston's getting better every day. I think he's kind of taken that approach really since he got here, and it feels April. It feels like losing track of days here. He's a full energy. He's obviously very talented. I think consistency is the key for all young players, and he's no different. I think is he where we want him to be? No. There's nobody is really where we want him to be. But I think he's on the right path to hopefully become smart, tough, disciplined, professional receiver in this league. I think he blocks. I think he's got to be more consistent catching the football. I think we say one drop is one too many, one missed tackle is one too many, one missed assignment is one too many. And I think if we all take that approach as an organization, we'll be on the right path. So from that standpoint, I would say yes, he is, but he's got a long way to go.
Well, if I could
quarterback on the other team this week that you guys evaluated and decided not to draft. What were your thoughts on him and during that process and through his limited action?
Very talented, big arm, gifted. Thought he had a great year a year ago, and just a talented player, very talented player. And I've watched a lot of his film, and we may or may not see him this week. I think we're trying to get ready for everyone, but I think he's got a bright future ahead of him.
If I could ask kind of like a philosophical question, going back to that Charles Harris thing, isn't a player being in the right place and using right technique, isn't that like the minimum? That's anybody can do that, right? I mean, you need them to make plays.
I mean, I kind of hear what you're saying, and it somewhat makes sense. But when you got a 320-pound guy coming at you, and we're asking you to set the edge and lock him out with your inside arm, and yes, it's the minimum, but it's a hard thing to do as well. And I think it's those small details that are the difference between winning and losing a lot of times. And taking care of those things, in my opinion and my experience, when you take care of all those little things, those minimum things as you call them, that's when big things happen. And when you don't take care of those minimum things, that's when you get, the big plays or the drop pass or the, not in the right spot and a quarterback and receiver kind of being off, not in sync. So, those details, I think, that some people, call minimum or not as, they take for granted. I think those are the things that, we really got to be good at those. The ordinary things that, I think those are the if we can get that process done more consistently, done right, then I think the rest of it will take care of itself. That's been my approach as a coach, and I think that may differ from some other people, but I mean it's worked for me.
Sorry to jump on you there. When you're facing a team that's 0-5, how is the challenge of the week different from facing, say, the Patriots?
To me, it's the same. I don't really look at records. I look at, I'm looking at a team and I see a front that's as good as the front we've seen. I'm looking at receivers who can take the top off of the defense. I'm looking at a talented team. Every team, look, this is National Football League. Every team poses problems and issues, and every game is tough. So, my approach is the same. We're going to have to play. We're going to have to execute. We're going to have to play a smart, disciplined, tough game. We're going to have to take care of all the little things. We've got to be detailed. We're going to have to play 60 minutes and play together. And I don't really look at records, to be honest with you. My focus is on really today and, trying to execute the early down. And tomorrow will be third down and 2 minute, and Friday will be red zone. And if we can get all those phases, the detail of all those phases, offense, defense, and the kicking game, if we can get all that done, or executed at a good level, at a high level, then the rest of it will take care of itself. That's kind of been my approach.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Sorry. All right.